Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, two blokes chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
Yes, indeed. In our fourth week of speaking to GDFL coaches on the eve of the GDFL season, hopefully kicking off from the Bannockburn Football Club, and something that he's never heard before in front of his name, reigning premiership coach, Peter Riccardi. Good morning.
G'day, lads. How you going?
Very, very good. Great to have you along, and really appreciate your time. It is a different look for you. You are now officially the hunted, as opposed to being a hunting team for a while. Has the pre-season been with the boys still in sort of, well, hopefully they're still celebrating a premiership. It's a long, long time ago, but they should be very up and about.
Yeah, no, they're, like all other clubs, they can't wait to get into it, I suppose. So, yeah, it's nice to have that title of reigning premiers. We've had it for 2 years now, so with only winning one. So it's been a long time for the round one to come ahead.
Just Peter, in all seriousness, you've played a lot of really high quality footy. You've coached and played locally outside of that, and before Geelong, I think you played in one junior premiership, but a lot of senior football with no success, and all of a sudden it comes late in life for you. How have you dealt with it over that period of time?
That night, that week, I suppose, you just soak it up and enjoy it. But then, like all coaches say, whether you're at the highest level or at our level, it's just back to business. You've got to start thinking about the following year. And that's what we've done as a coaching group, is got on the horse and started recruiting, because we knew there was a few guys retiring, like with Jace Tom and Jake Miles and guys like that. And then we had a few guys that have left. So it was just getting on the horse and trying to find out the next crop to hopefully get us another premiership.
Is that going to make your team look a little bit different, and maybe a slightly different game style that you've been working on?
Yeah, 100%. We won't be as tall. Obviously, with the loss of Kieran Fulton is going to be massive for us. We're not going to be as tall with Jace Tom leaving as well. So, yeah, it'll be definitely a different look. And we have been working on a few different things, just our ball movement and stuff like that. But, if your game plan kind of works, but all you've got to do is the guys that come in, make them adjust to our style of footy, because we know it works and it stands up in high pressure situations. So we tweak a little bit, but we don't go too far from it.
Because Peter, it's Neil here, and thanks for joining us on Two Blokes Chatting. Just in my mind, the thing that would be most different is, I'm relatively new to the GDFL. I've only been sort of following it the last 2 or 3 years, but I would have thought that being out there in Bannockburn, doing your own thing, you're probably sneaking a little bit under the radar a bit in the lead up to the premiership. The spotlights are out now, aren't they? They're looking at you because obviously what you guys did in 2019 worked. So people would be not only looking to try and bring you down, but also, I guess, adopt aspects of your game plan.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why you've got to tweak it a little bit. But like I said, if you go too much and do a whole new game plan, 22, you're starting from scratch. So you just got to tweak one or two things, and we've done that over the last couple of pre-seasons. So hopefully it all works. Otherwise we might be in a bit of trouble. But no, look, what they say, if it's not broken, why fix it? So continually say just one or two things that we want to try and do, and we'll have 3 practice matches to try and get it right and see how it works. And hopefully it just rolls into round one. But, it's like you said, the unknown with us, because we'll have, 9 guys different from our 2019 premiership. So it's a whole different look for us as well. So, and you look at the sides that are recruited, like Inverleigh, Thompson have, picked up a few over the summer. Werribee flying to the radar where they are. And you look at North Geelong picking up the Anarchy guys. Like, there's going to be, GDFL this year is going to be more even than it's ever been, I think.
Yeah, there's probably not much doubt about that. I just wanted to talk about your game plan a bit, because it seemed to be like most really good modern sides at the highest level, and that's filtering down, is had a defensive base, and it was that really strong across the whole field defensive game that you had that kept you in those really tough finals. Is that really the basis to the Peter Riccardi coaching model?
Yeah, 100%. When I first went to Bannockburn, I had a look at their scores over the couple of years previous, and they were kicking high scores, but they were also letting high scores against as well. So I pretty much said to the whole group, like, defensive 50 there's no offside rule in football. So you're allowed to go in there. So you're allowed to work up and down the ground. So there's no rule saying the forwards can't live in the defensive half and then let's slingshot it back out. And they since then they've brought into it, and as you saw, probably 5 years in the making, that we're a pretty good defensive unit. We hardly get scored over 70, 80 points. So which is a positive, but we haven't lost that attacking side of things as well. So which is good. But once again, we won't probably have that firepower this year. But so like I said, we'll structure up a little bit different this year and try a couple of things and see how that works.
I think the other thing that I'm fascinated by, and it goes a little bit broader than just the footy itself, but you look at teams like Geelong West and North Geelong, these sides that are in the heart of Geelong and therefore can pull out of schools, and the schools around. Being in a place like Bannockburn, which is a growing area, is there a sense that more younger folk are moving to that part of the world, therefore you've got a better structure coming up through the ranks as well as the township of Bannockburn itself grows? Yeah,
that'd be spot on. But we won't see that for another 10 years. Bannockburn right now is booming, but they're all young, early 20s, 30-year-olds moving out to Bannockburn, young families. So you see through our juniors how our Auskick up through to now. Like this is only our first year since I've been at the footy club that we've had an under-19 side.
Mm.
So it's going to take a while for that to filter through. But the good thing about Bannockburn and winning a premiership is that now people want to come to Bannockburn, which is fantastic, and it does make it a lot easier to recruit. But like you said, give it 10 years, probably 8 years now, we'll see them young kids come through and play senior footy at Bannockburn.
But some of those 24s and 25-year-olds that are moving out there can probably play footy already.
Yeah, but try to get them to move from their actual their home club. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these days too, with the point system, if you're recruiting specifics, which you usually do now, we can get midfielders there a dime a dozen. Try to get that key position player. We were pretty lucky a couple of years ago to grab Tom Gillies, who moved out to Teesdale. Got wind of it, gave him a phone call, and he's played. And it was a key part in our premiership side.
I'm 6'3", just saying.
And the same thing happened with Jace Thomas, well, when he first came out.
Yeah, you're just lucky. Some fall in your lap in that regard.
Right.
Peter, you're a busy man. You've got a family. You've got a business to run. 2019 you won the premiership, so you've got that career thing that's just I know it's a very personal thing. You sit in the corner and think about it yourself, but are you still as hungry to do the job as you were in pre-season 2019?
It's amazing. Having that year off really refreshed you, and you think, I've missed footy this year in 2020. And it just makes you get on the bike, and we were lucky enough to make a few phone calls, get Matt Jones and Joey Fanner over the off season, which is just going to boost our midfield stock. And then you look at the side now compared to 2019. Like I said, it's going to be 9 or 10 different players come through that premiership side. That's going to be completely different. So it is exciting, and it's good to see guys like Kieran Fulton have a crack at Leopold. It's fantastic for him. Disappointing about a couple of guys going to other GDFL sides, but it is what it is these days. It's, as they say, it's an organisation, it's a business. If you're trying to get yourself better and you can get players from other clubs, well, fantastic. But yeah, it's hard to lose them, if you know what I mean.
Were there any of your 2019 guys intending to play last year, but with the footy being called off, decided not because, she who must be obeyed said the garden needs doing, or any of that sort of stuff? Or had they already decided to give it away?
For this year?
Yeah.
So Matty Ho would have played last year, but now as a young family, year older, hard to get to training through work.
Yep.
So, he's pulled the pin early January. The rest already made their move. So Jarcy, he's good mates with Bisso, and he said to Bisso he'll have a year out there, which is fine. Matt Typham moved to Inverleigh last year. So really the only one that we've lost is Kieran Fulton from that would have been the 2020 side. And Jarcy would have played 2020 as well.
Yep.
And Matt Ho. So it was just them three. But Matt Ho's retiring. Like I said, just had a bub. And yes, obviously the family's more important. Comes first as it should.
Well, you're going to say that certainly within earshot of his wife, anyway.
It's a perfect segue to my next question, Peter, because due to the fact that my grandson plays a bit of footy at Newtown, I've seen your boys up close. One in particular looks like he's going to be a seriously good player. How are you handling that father-son thing?
Look, I just drop them off and let them go through their own thing, and if they need advice, I'll give them some advice. And but otherwise, I just take a back step. I think they're in good hands. Young Boston's, under David Wojcinski's care. And my older son Oscar, he's shot up a bit. He might show a bit of potential now. He was only little and getting pushed around a bit, but he's grown a little bit over the COVID break. So he looks like he's a little bit stronger through the hips as well. So he might be, yeah.
You've obviously got a bit of an eye on the old club down under the lights at Cardinia Park. Do you ever have a little moment just yourself where you think, geez, there's a lot of father-sons come and played at Geelong. It'd be handy if the boys could line up for that, because Cam Mooney's got a lad there as well, and David Wojcinski has said there's three of you that are hovering around some pretty talented kids.
Yeah, look, we'd love, all our fathers would love see our sons, play at the highest level, but it's not that easy.
No, it isn't that easy. That's right.
Yeah, probably the good thing about our boys is they might be on the radar and they might have a bit of a head start by clubs having a look.
Yep.
Geelong having a look at them. So, but I don't know. So I just I'll do the dad thing and stay out of their way and do what they want.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to do, and from what I've been told, you do it particularly well. And but. Yeah, sometimes it must be hard, but you've made the good point that the club is well run, it's well structured, and you could be pretty safe knowing that they're going to get the best opportunities they can, whether you're there or not. So it's good that you're able to keep away.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty lucky because I drop my boys off and go to training myself. So, and if I'm not training and one of the coaches need a hand, I'll be there to put some hats out.
Means you don't have to be the goal umpire on a cold, wet morning too. That's the other great thing. I've been there, done that.
Now, the old Cardinia Park boys, the Geelong's recruiting at the end of last year, despite losing Ablett and Taylor in particular, they've recruited in a way that says they're going to have a red-hot go. What's interesting, and you played a bit close to goal, Cameron and Hawkins, is that going to be the biggest thing for Geelong to get to work to give them the best chance of the ultimate success this year?
Oh, no doubt, and I think it's fantastic. Who it's going to be good for? I reckon it's going to be good for Riccardi if they want to play that third. So because he can monster anyone. So I reckon he's the one that might just fly under the radar if they go for that third tall, because Cameron and Riccardi, they're both pretty mobile, really. So if you have another bull, down there, they can jump and take a clunk. We'll look out.
I love picking up bits of paper and writing down prospective teams, and I agree with you that looks like the 3, which means there's probably no place in that side for Gary Rowan, I wouldn't have thought.
Don't tell my wife that. That's her favourite player. But how do you not have him? He can't replace speed and defensive pressure. So good luck being a selector in that side.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a hard thing. I picked their side the other night. They've got 31 players in their best 22.
Yeah. So and I really like what they did with getting Isaac Smith and Sean Higgins as well, because what they needed was outside players that can actually use the ball going forward. So,
very exciting times. Rico, thank you so much
exciting
for your time, mate. Good luck for Bannockburn for season 2021. Hopefully we'll see a lot more of you live, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show for a chat through the year.
Sounds good, lads.
Thanks,
All the best.
All the best.
Thank you.